I think if you're gonna have a profitable business, writing should be important to you because that's how you're conveying your ideas. There's no other way to sell. I tend to talk about this as the top and the bottom of the iceberg because we've been seeing B2C marketing our whole lives since we could turn on a television. So B2B is really the bottom of that iceberg, and it's all that technology and consulting and services that helps those businesses run. So it's like we have this second degree familiarity with it. When you first start writing with it, it's really an adjustment to figure out who you're talking to, because you aren't talking to yourself or even the person you're trying to get hired from. If you're the writer, you're talking to that customer's customer. So there's these degrees that you have to figure out.
What are some common mistakes that you see with B2B writing? And I think you just talked about a few of the misconceptions, but like what is common? What's a common pitfall that you see?
Yeah, there's kind of two categories that I'll see. So with writers, there's an issue, and then with marketers, there can be some other issues. And so with writers, it really is what you said, is unlocking that Russian doll and understanding who the actual audience is. Because when you're trying to sell a writing project, or even if you're working in-house, we're often trying to meet our client's needs, which is the marketer. But in reality, we should be talking to the marketer about their customer, and their customer's talking about their customer. So figuring out how to think about those degrees and really represent that on the page can be really hard.
What can you do to make your B2B writing a little bit more casual, if you will, or easily received?
Yeah, I think the difference is maybe the bar for informality is just a little bit higher in B2B, where we do want people who feel comfortable and passionate and informed, but we don't want people who are going to seem flighty or sassy or dramatic. Like there's this tendency to go for the pain points and to exacerbate, or what's that word? PAS, so your problem, agitate, and then solution. B2C is often trying to agitate problems, where in B2B, I think it's more about explaining problems and informing and showing a new way around problems instead of getting into that emotional space. Something that comes up so much, both in an agency context where I'm working with an agency on behalf of a brand and then with brands directly, is this pattern of really trying to follow trends and like jump on the bandwagon with big trends, which that can be a helpful thing to start with, but I really think it needs to be a jumping off point for what's actually relevant for your customers and your brand. And the example, because that might not be super clear yet, but when it comes to diversity, equity, and inclusion, pretty much every kickoff call I have starts with how that's an important topic to address right now. But very few of the brands have like a real, relatable, vulnerable, important story that's going to move the needle around that topic. So it's kind of like, you don't want to just jump on the headlines for the sake of having attention. You want to find ways that topic, like diversity, equity, and inclusion, interview some of your customers and look at what is actually happening in your company and be a little vulnerable about it to make that actually valuable.
The golden rules, I've called them, of the customer experience, which is 1, know your customer, and 2, manage your customers' expectations. And I think that, based on the pyramid of B2B needs that you've talked about and kind of what we're talking about now, it's just like, if you don't do those things, you could be the best writer or have the best product, and it's like, it's never going to get anywhere.
It could be award-winning copy and still not sell, right? Like, who's judging it? And I would modify, just to be a little sassy, I would modify the first one to say, know why your customers buy. Just knowing your customer, I've discovered a lot by doing a simple survey after someone buys to ask them why they bought. And I wouldn't say I'm shocked, but I do see surprises there, and it informs how I advertise to other people.